coming here over the last couple of games, over the last 10 or 15 games. He said he sees some cheat in your players' games right across the board, and feels like you need to get back to the fundamentals. Do you agree with that assessment?
I think there have been things that we've probably gotten away with in a style of game that was played by the opponents and by us. And that's true of a big chunk of the regular season. And it's played equally by both teams. So I think what was true of our game was also true of our opponents' games. And then, there was a gear change, and it happens at different times over an 82 game schedule. We missed the gear change coming off the road. And now you're not, we had 4 of those pucks tonight that we need to make a decision based on the game that's being played now, not the game that was played 2 weeks ago. So that gear change happens, and it's happened with, the 2 teams that are now ahead of us in the standings in our division. And tonight it just, it blew up on us.
We'll go next to Scott Billick from the Winnipeg Sun. Go ahead, Scott.
Thanks, Gregor. Paul, do you need to take a scalpel to this? What's the road? What's the pathway out of it?
I don't understand the reference.
Sorry, to your lines, perhaps defensive pairings. Obviously, those changed a little bit in the third there. But what about the lines, forward lines? Like, what do you have to do to get out of this? Do you have to move a guy out of the top 6?
So if you were thinking that it was this would be fundamental. It would not be, the line structure, a chemistry issue with the lines. They were completely changed here tonight. The decision process with the puck wasn't based on the combinations.
We'll go next to Murat Atesh from The Athletic. Go ahead, Murat.
Thanks, Gregor. Hi, Paul. You've referenced kind of a style of play change at this time of year a couple of times before, and now you're referencing that gear change that hasn't happened yet. If Edmonton and Toronto have made that change, what is it? Where does that come from? Is that a coaching thing? Is that a player's thing? What needs to happen from whom to make that shift?
It's an understanding of the way the game's changed. So the coach's responsibility is to make that clear and understood. And then we need to play that game. There's just too many pucks that were put into transition that didn't need to be put into transition because we're looking for something more. In each of these games, also, we're trailing the game. What we had done well, and again, it's a different game that's played at the start, but we had given up the first goal quite often early in the year and won an awful lot of those games by not changing. And I felt that, in these games that we've been behind recently, we just opened our game up. And certainly against, the offense that the last 2 teams we played have had, you just can't do it.
We'll go next to Ken Wiebe from Sportsnet. Go ahead, Weaver.
Paul, what can you tell us about the timing of the goalie pull? Is it just you want to give Brossoit more time to get ready, or what goes into that decision?
It was enough. I didn't want Connor skating off the ice in that game because he's made a bunch of saves. I didn't have him for any of them. I didn't want him coming off the ice during the period and making that skate. So after 2, he had enough work.
Thanks very much, Coach.
Okay, guys.